Welcome to our viewers in Windsor and Ottawa tonight. While we break from the ordinary, because the Premier is breaking from the ordinary, with 126,000 teachers poised to strike on Monday, Mike Harris wants the opportunity to speak to the province. He pre-taped an address earlier today, and we've got it for you. Following that, we'll have some political reaction. Now, here is the Premier of Ontario, Mike Harris.
Good evening. I would like to talk with you tonight as both a parent and as Premier about our children. Regardless of our politics, we all want our students to get the best education there is. Tonight, I would like to talk to you about how we can do that. There has been a lot in the news lately about education reform in Ontario. Let's take a moment to review the facts. Between 1985 and 1995, student enrollment increased by 16%. Inflation during that same 10-year period rose by 40%. Yet education property taxes rose by 120%. As taxpayers, we have made a tremendous commitment to education. Yet we must ask ourselves, have our students received a better education with all that additional money? Are they learning twice as much as they were 10 years ago, having now spent twice as much money? The fact is, they are not. If money alone were the secret to good schools, then we would have the best system in the world, but we do not. Ontario students now rank among the lowest in Canada. That is unacceptable. We cannot accept it as parents, and I cannot accept it as your Premier. Our children deserve much better. And so we are making the changes that are needed to improve the system. This is the year in which we will stop the decade-long decline in Ontario's public schools. The solution is straightforward. We spend enough money, we need better results. Your government has a thoughtful education plan to get those results. Many of our reforms are not new ideas. After all, there have been 24 separate reviews on education in our province, and nearly all other provinces in Canada have had the courage to make changes to improve their systems. Ontario has some of North America's finest teachers. I know what a difference teachers can make. In fact, I started my professional career as a teacher, teaching math and science to students in North Bay. The goal of our reform is to help our teachers succeed, and that means changing the work rules of our public schools. Today, high school teachers in Ontario spend just 3 3/4 hours a day in the classroom. That's far less time each day than the national average. It's also 50% more time spent outside the classroom than Ontario's elementary teachers. Our plan is very clear. We want Ontario teachers to spend more time in the classroom teaching their students. As parents, we know that the more time our children spend with their teachers, the better their achievement. And the proof is in the results. On class size, our plan is straightforward too. We believe that larger class sizes impede the quality of our children's education. All of us, whether it's parents, grandparents, neighbors, or teachers, we know a student who has been part of a class of 40 or so others. Under our plans, we will not allow union leaders to negotiate increases in our children's class sizes. The second part of our plan is designed to improve and measure the success of our education system. It is time for standardized testing to make sure students are learning. Standardized testing of students across the province is the only way we can really know if our students are truly learning. We have also introduced standardized report cards, so we as parents will know how our kids are doing in school. I know as a parent, I've looked at my son's report card in the past and wondered just what it was supposed to tell me. We also want to see more parental involvement in our education system. We must all, government, educators, and parents, work together, for the sake of our children. More teacher time in the classroom, an end to larger classes, standardized report cards, real province-wide testing to measure success, and more parental involvement. These are the cornerstones of our education reform plan. Unfortunately, those in the leadership of the teacher unions are opposing these reforms. In fact, to reinforce their position, they have now threatened a strike, an illegal strike. This is unfortunate, and it is unnecessary. Choosing an illegal strike punishes only parents and their children. Our plan is about moving the focus on education away from the blank check spending mentality that has failed to a new accountability where we focus on the student in the classroom. Ontario lags behind the rest of Canada in education scores, in classroom sizes, and in teacher hours in the classroom. We are not getting value for money. It is time for some changes. The status quo is not working for our students. This situation and the need for reform has led me to make one of the toughest decisions I've had to make as Premier. I will not let the status quo stand. This is the day on which we stop the inexcusable slide in the quality of our schools. This is the day in which we tell all the special interests who put their agendas ahead of our students that enough is enough. I understand that the job of the teachers' union is to put their membership first, but our job is to put Ontario's kids first. Our schools and the quality of the education they give is the blueprint for Ontario's future. And I will not let struggling schools continue to decline and deny our children and our province a bright and prosperous future. Our plan is to improve the education system. Our schools will be reformed. Our students will be put first again. The parents of Ontario and the government of Ontario will not and cannot accept anything less. I want to assure all parents that if the unions do insist on staging an illegal strike, we will do all that we can to help parents and children. Earlier today, the Minister of Education outlined details of how we will assist parents, including the introduction of legislation that would direct all school boards to provide the savings from unpaid teacher wages directly to families with young children. This initiative will help families cope with the additional costs and the difficulties that they face as a result of these illegal actions by teachers' unions. And I ask the teachers of Ontario, who are some of the best in the world, to carefully think this over. Do not let your union leaders push you into an illegal situation that in your hearts you know is the wrong course of action for Ontario's children. Our students deserve and should expect no less. Quality education does not come from picket signs and rhetoric. It comes from qualified, caring teachers. We have those teachers, and now we must provide them with the system and the tools they need to succeed. This is a difficult time for all of us, but the great cause of stopping the decline of our schools demands that we not back down. This is the month where we will act to improve and enhance our education system. This is the month where parents and students will again come first. This is the month where we begin to make our schools better. We kept our promise to reduce the deficit. We kept our promise to cut taxes to create jobs. We kept our promise on work for welfare. We made a promise to improve the education system. And I am here tonight to say we are going to honor that commitment because Ontario's kids come first. Let's work together. Thank you.